Our In the Turn interview continues here. We are joined by Ty Leclerc. I got that right after Sammy Hagar messed it up last week. We won't hold that against Ben, but we butcher names here occasionally. It's not as easy as Murray, but Ty joining us. We've had Ty on the show here before, I believe, way back, about over a year ago. There's family connections, which we'll get into. But first and foremost, Ty, you've been racing now a couple of years. How'd you catch the racing bug?
So, my whole family was into it. My grandfather started in the 70s, 80s. Well, first of all, we all started with motocross. My dad was good with motocross until, he got hurt when he was mid-20s. And that's when he made the transition into stock cars, first with mini sprints at Whip City. Then he went the NEMA route, and then bounced back and forth with modifieds and late models. But once his time was up, I obviously tried the motocross thing. We don't talk about that anymore. So obviously the next route after that was cars. And in 2021, I got the chance to drive a legend car for the first time. And here we are now, 5 years into it. Loving it.
2025 was a pretty solid season for you. You primarily raced the modified up at Monadnock in New Hampshire. Came home third in points this season. Talk to us a little bit about the 2025 effort that went into it and where you're looking to go from here.
Yeah, it was a really good year. A year that was unexpected, to say the least. We had a slow start. We picked it up a little bit, and then we got to the middle of the year. We had a lot of mechanical troubles. We blew an engine about midway through the year. Somehow bounced back and got it back out there the next week. Want to thank Ken Rigo for that. He was able to find us a motor. And, we really picked it up towards the end of the year. We found some stuff that, we weren't doing before, mainly because we weren't comfortable and weren't aware. But we started implementing those things. And, the second half of the year towards the end was phenomenal, to say the least.
So, I don't know why it's unexpected, Ty, because, I've watched you race for few years now, even the motocross years, and you are you're good at what you do, and honestly, you're quiet. I call you quiet good. See, when I race, I'm loud, even if I'm last. Right? It's something's
that's
happening.
The Heger gene in you.
Yeah, and when he races, it's just so patient, and it really is a pleasure to watch him race because he's kind of like it's quiet, but he's always in there in the end. So don't be bashful about that. That's part of you. Tell everybody about you working on the car and stuff all by yourself at the shop and makes his own parts. To give the whole spiel.
Yeah, it's a family effort. Mostly me and my dad working on the car, but we've slowly transitioned. So obviously the family business, we have a metal fab business, and that tailors a lot to the modified racing with the front bumpers and earth bars and everything in between. So we kind of made the transition to making our own parts, trying to save as much money as humanly possible because it gets expensive. And when you chew it off, sometimes it's hard to find the parts. So if we can kind of keep it in stock and have it ready when we need it, it's huge. It saves time during the week. When you can wreck on Saturday and have it back together on scales for Sunday night, that's huge. It's huge.
So for the listeners at home, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 18, just turned 18.
18. Excellent. So long career ahead of him because you're looking at this guy over here who, if I had to give a rough guess.
I'm 19.
Yeah. You've had a tough paper route for 19.
Yeah.
What'd I say to you earlier? You age like fine wine.
Lots of papers. But, hey, just so everybody knows, because everybody in the room knows, but Ty's my nephew, right? Ty's aunt is my wife. And, I met her when her brother was racing NEMA, and her dad and the kid who was driving for me, Randy Cabral, was driving for me. Her dad and Glenn got into a fight one night, and Glenn got chokeslammed by my father-in-law, and then so the next day I decided to ask out his aunt just to try to make peace or something. You know what I mean? It's a crazy story.
It's a love story apparently at the racetrack.
So I've been around these guys for a while, and they're a lot of fun.
Excellent.
What is one thing that Uncle Paul has taught you about driving race cars, if anything?
Nothing.
It's tough to think of something off the dome here.
No, sorry, I know. I'm putting the pressure on you.
You know, but he's, you know, I have learned a lot. I mean, you go to him to the racetrack, and I mean, I'm not going modified racing with him, but you always learn something, whether, you know, him with his tires and, you know, what he's doing
or
behind
with
the scenes.
race interviews.
With his race interviews, yeah, you know. But, you know.
It's always a fun time, right?
It's always a fun time. It's always a fun time. Interesting.
So, talk to us a little bit about what you're looking for in 2026, possibly.
Well, the ultimate goal is to go try to win a championship at Monadnock. We're going to chase points. I think if we can have a better start to the year, we started off slow. Obviously, Roby, you know, he won however many races, 7, 8. If we have a better start to the year and not let him get away, then I think we have a really good shot. And then as far as the future goes after that, it's, you know, it's going to depend on my progress with the crate stuff, and I guess we'll see.
You know what you should have done? You should call me at the Star Classic and told me that was him getting in the helicopter, and I would have taken the helicopter out. I was there.
Yeah.
Would have crashed into it.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, you know, we're going to be like the JV team soon enough. We're going to need to have a parental advisory disclaimer on the show if you keep it up.
This show is sponsored.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting flustered over here trying to think of something. So you went from Legends to Modifieds, correct? Was there anything in between?
No.
So that seems like quite a jump from going to a smaller car to a much larger car. What was that whole process like, making the transition?
So, looking at it on paper, it looks like a big jump. The thing is what people don't understand is the Legend car may have a third of the horsepower, but it also weighs half of what the Modified weighs. So the Legend car is a lot more skatey and jumpy, and it wants to kind of dance around, and you got to kind of throw it into wherever it wants to go. But the Modified is much more relaxed. And the big thing was going to Monadnock. I had raced there in the Legend car, but it was on the old pavement. Going there on the new pavement with the Modified was like night and day. I mean, obviously it's got 15-inch tires compared to 8, but the grip was just insane. And I really didn't get the sensation of how much power it actually had until we went to Lee, the end of 2024. Abrasive, harder tires, and I mean, you got to be so careful with getting on the throttle because it does. I mean, you felt like you were driving a Legend car, a heavy, heavy Legend car. But at Monadnock, it's, believe it or not, it is easier to drive, and I think a couple other people would vouch for that.
No grip at Lee.
No grip at Lee. Even Hudson. We went to Hudson one time this year, and it was the same thing.
Ring the tires down the street.
Same thing.
You mentioned running the Legends, and I do believe, I could be wrong. I know, obviously, you've been on the show before. You ran Seekonk in the Legends a little bit, correct?
I did. My rookie year, we did full-time at Seekonk.
So talk to us a little bit about Seekonk Speedway and what you learned from there.
It was rough. I mean, I had never driven anything before the Legend car, so getting thrown in a Legend car at probably one of the toughest tracks to drive in the Northeast was tough, very tough. I worked with Nick Lascola and that whole group, and he kind of got me going on the right path, and it was I mean, personally, I enjoy traveling a little bit. You know, racing at the same track week in and week out does get repetitive sometimes, so we decided that year after to go run Nelcar, and I'm glad that we did that. But you know, Seekonk, it teaches you a lot. You gotta be good with throttle control, and sometimes it's tough to pass. And I mean, the big thing with me was learning not to mirror drive, because with no spotters at Seekonk, it's tempting to. When you move into the Nelcar stuff, you have radios and spotters, but it was definitely an eye opener. But it was a good start, because you start off with something difficult, and then obviously you learn a lot when you get thrown into something. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome, it really was.
So talk to us, obviously, also under the Chuckrans umbrella. Talk to us about the partnership that you've had with Chuckrans Auto Parts, and also some of the sponsors that are on your car week to week.
Yeah, so this was actually the first year with Chuckrans on the car. It all came to fruition with my Aunt Brooke, who works at Chuckrans, and she stepped it up with the sponsorship stuff this winter, and you know, she talked to Rich and talked to Alan, and we ended up working something out. He's not on any modifieds, and he's really not up north either. So it was cool to have them on the car, and I'm glad that they were a good partner to us, and hopefully I proved enough that they want to be back in the car next year.